Hey Hotshots, Jess of the Emotional Fire Academy here today to talk about how to see through the illusion of your problems. Welcome to Emotional Fire Academy. This is where I help you learn tactical mindfulness so you can cross the threshold between ordinary and extraordinary. Because we all want to do extraordinary things with our life, right? We want to live our dreams, we want to be epic. That's what we do here. I'd be happy to have you if you are interested to subscribe and get more of that information. Before we dive into today, I'm having an upcoming course in April called Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. And it teaches you these exact things because when really, everything, our outcomes in life are the result of how well we manage all of this. It really is. And in 9 weeks, which is what I'll take you through in the course, you're going to take a big leap forward in being your true self and clearing out the mental trash, right? When we get rid of all this mind trash that, the emotions, the stories, and we block ourselves from our own greatness. Your greatness is already within you. It's there. You have everything you need. You don't need to do anything differently, besides clean this up. Clean this up and the world is yours. The world is your oyster. Mindset work is no joke. No joke. Anyway, details for that in the box below. If you'd like to join us, I think it's going to be a great experience. And everyone I've taken through this process has changed. They've transformed. And I would love for you to have that too. Change your mind, change your life. Same thing. Everybody can do this. Mindset work is real. It's really, and I say this because I actually, on my journey, I've done this myself. And I found some documents from 3 years ago when I first started, and I had written out, all of the what were my strengths, what were my weaknesses at the time, and who did I want to be? And I was amazed, to see the mindset that I was in at that time. Because when we change, we kind of forget who we were a little, we forget the thoughts and the beliefs and the stuff that we were holding, the actual perspective that we were standing in. And I am now the person that I dreamed about becoming 3 years ago. I intended to become this person, someone who had full emotional mastery, someone who, had a successful business and was with the love of her life. And I've become that person. I have become that person. I was so proud of myself that, wow, I transcended all of those old stories, that old crap. And you can do the same thing. You can come join our class. You can do the same thing. In a group setting, we'll all go through it together. And I am there to support you and guide you along the way. I know you can do this. Anyway, enough plug there. So how do we see through the illusion of our own problems? Okay. So there's two paradigms, right? There's two paradigms here when we start to kind of become aware that, okay, I'm sensing that, life is just, I'm constantly stuck in a problem. I'm going round and round. Life is a series of problems, just one after another, after another. I'm just chasing problems, That's paradigm one. Most people exist in this space. And I did too. It's okay. Sometimes I slip and forget. And I'm like, oh, I go back to paradigm one for a little bit. It's okay. Paradigm one. The pattern, the feedback loop, right? Because these are feedback loops. These are feedback loops that, once they get activated, they go round and round. So we think there's a problem in the real world. There's a problem. There's a problem. We've observed the problem out there, something that happened out there. It's separate from us, right? That triggers then these thoughts and beliefs. And then we start telling ourselves the story. Oh my gosh, this is bad. This is not going to end up well. I have a problem here. We go into this really heavy story because our brain is very creative. It wants to try and help us and fix it, right? Our ego wants to protect us. So then we take actions. We take actions out in the real world to try and fix this problem. Because we think it's real. It's real. This problem is real. I have to deal with it. I have to fix it. And all of our thoughts and beliefs and energy go towards that. And all of our actions go towards that. And then what happens is, again, life is a perpetual series of problems. We're constantly trying to put the fires out, right? Instead of our actions, our thoughts and our beliefs directed towards what we want in life. Our goals, our dreams, the outcomes we actually want to see. So this is a perpetual problem mode, perpetual problem mode. I've talked about this before. Paradigm 2. So this is what's actually happening. This is the illusion. This is the illusion. This is the illusion. Don't get caught in the illusion. Don't get caught in the illusion. Don't get caught in the illusion. What's happening is we're having mental simulations of what we think is real, aka our imagination, right? We're running these scenarios all day where we have certain belief systems in place that, you know, the world is a big scary place. It's out to get me. I can lose. You know, that's a big one. There's a possibility of loss, that I can lose anything. Remember, we live in a simulation. Not only do we live in a simulation, but we are part of that simulation. We are mentally simulating our reality. This is science. This is fact. This is in the book I always talk about, that I take my clients through, how emotions are made. Go read that book. I'll put the info below. Like, we're simulating reality with our imagination. The workbench of our mind. We're creating these concepts, these representations of what we think is real. We're like, this is real, and we cling to it. We cling. This is real. We refuse to see anything else. And then what we do, we overlay that. We take those imaginary constructs, representations, and we slap it onto reality, onto 3D. We slap it onto the 3D. And what happens is, that is like a filter. It's a very, very heavy filter that we cannot see through. We can't see anything else but the things that prove those simulations, that prove, you know, make them true. And then we're like, see, I told you it was true. You know, a bunny rabbit goes hopping by. Okay, let's start at the beginning. We're thinking about, let's take a really weird example. Let's see. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden in my camera. But something that, like, I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose my job. Oh my God, my boss hates me. You know, we're telling all this story. We don't have any actual evidence, right? We have some inclinations. We have some suggestions. We have some hints. We have some things that we've interpreted as, I'm going to lose my job. 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 Oh my God, my boss is staring at me the wrong way. So we create this huge simulation where it becomes very real. We talk ourselves into the realness of this situation. We talk ourselves into it. And then what happens? We get to work. We act all paranoid. We're very snappy. We're like, what do you want from me? You know, because we're living in that, through that filter of, I'm going to lose my job, that fear and that anger and that lashing out. And then our boss calls us in and is like, and tells us, I'm sorry, you know, we're going to have to let you go. Because we're acting, from our perspective, we're being completely rational, right? From other people's perspective, they're like, whoa, what got into her? Like, what's going on with you? Are you okay? Like, what? But we can't even see, you know, the effects of our own actions because we're so deeply in it. The last video I made about, you know, changing our perspective. Check that out if you haven't seen it. And then when we get fired, we're like, see, I told you it was true. I told you it was true. I knew I was going to get fired, but it was a self-fulfilling simulation that we created. When really, in reality, nothing was different about things at work. Nothing had actually changed. Nobody had said anything to us that was like, oh, I'm going to lose my job. Nobody had said anything. There wasn't any paperwork that was saying it, right? The facts, when we get granular, you know, we get into these simulations and we actually look at the facts of the situation, often nothing has changed in the 3D reality. Nothing is different. What is different is the grandiosity of our story, of our simulation, this big, big, nasty, angry simulation, the story that we are clinging to and saying, this is real, this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen. When we could just as easily be telling a good simulation, being like, I'm going to get a promotion. I'm going to get a promotion. You know, we could just as easily be telling that simulation or telling that story. And then that is what is going to happen. Because we're going to interpret these tiny little things that we take as evidence of this, you know, we take as evidence because we're filtering through the simulation, through the story. We're going to take these little bits of evidence and weave it into, yes, this is true, this is true. And so it can just as easily be a good story as it can be a catastrophic one, right? So we have to start taking control of our mental simulations. So, have you ever heard about someone talk about their problem and you're like, this isn't a big deal. This isn't like, why are you freaking out about this? This is this tiny little thing. It's because you have perceptual distance, right? We have the video last week, I talked about, being the witness and the experiencer. We have perceptual distance from that person's problem. Like, we're not identifying as it, and we've backed up from it. We're a level removed. And learning how to do this in real life will solve the majority of your problems and turn problems into opportunities, right? This is the cognitive flexibility that I talk about on my channel. Half of our problems aren't even there. They're not even real. It's just something that we are literally crafting in our head and then projecting out as real. And then it comes true because we're behaving subconsciously because we subscribe to this the trueness, the realness of it. It's real. It's real. Our body then, our actions are emanating that energy. And then people then respond to us because they're like, whoa, they're just reacting to how deeply we're in our own story, and then it kind of happens. It happens. Or we assume that it's already happened when it hasn't. And then we act out that reality. We're like, yes, it's already happened. It's already happened. When nothing has changed in the 3D, usually nothing has changed in 3D reality. If you really back up and look at it, our fixation on the problem is the problem. So how do we deal with this? How do we get over this? How you frame something is the problem. The story you tell is the problem. Your words are a command to your brain. The minute you're like, this is a problem, oh my God, you go into robot mode. And however you typically solve problems, I'm not saying you personally, but let's say we. However we typically solve problems then is we literally go into this subconscious, okay, now we have a problem, okay, ruminate, okay. Like, we're not even aware. We go into this automatic habit of how we normally solve problems, and then we get stuck in these loops. We get stuck in these loops where we're like, why is my life not changing? Why am I not getting different results? Because we're in robot mode doing the same thing over and over again. Mindset work is real. Taking control of your mind is the real thing. Like, that's where you see results. I've seen results. My clients have seen results. This stuff is real. That's why people talk about manifestation. That's why people talk about, manifestation is reprogramming yourself to be a different person. That different person does different actions, and those different actions get different results. That's what manifestation is, sprinkled in with a little bit of magic of the simulation of like, whoa, I shaped reality in front of my own eyes. We have to be the solution. If we're constantly chasing the problem, trying to fix the problem, then we're giving all our power away. We are the solution. Change your thoughts, which changes your perspective, which changes what you perceive. And how you perceive it is how you fix that problem. So I know I'm going to get people say, well, yeah, but it's real. This is always in my comments. Yeah, but this is a real problem. How do I deal with it? When I pretty much hand them the solution on a silver platter, I say, do this. And then like, yeah, but how do I do it practically? How do I do it practically? Like, there's a difference. I'm telling them, change your story. Change your story to like really reframe this. I'm not in a positive way thinking, but in an actual genuine, okay, I can get on board with this. Like, this is true. Nothing has changed right now. I'm okay. Nothing has happened yet. My story is big and scary, nasty, and I'm going to step away from it, So how do we see through the illusion of our problems? I used to say, drop it like it's hot. It's like holding a hot rock, right? You're like, my problem, it's burning me, help me. Drop it. Drop it like it's hot, drop it. It's still gonna be there on the ground for you. Drop it until it cools off. Go do something else. Literally, go do something else. Your fixation on holding it is the problem. Our fixation on holding the hot rock is the problem. I don't mean to be forceful here, but This is the video we all need when we're holding a hot rock and screaming, I have a problem, I have a problem, I have a problem. Drop it, drop it, drop it. It's still going to be there. It's right there. You can't lose that problem. It's right there. You can come back to it. You're going to... My camera wants to drop it like it's hot too. Just drop it. Or it's like a campfire. Let's say you're standing, this is the analogy I give to a lot of my clients. You're standing in a campfire and you're screaming, I'm burning, this is a problem, this is a problem. You're so consumed with the pain and the anguish and the, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot. Meanwhile, the person sitting behind you in the camp chair is like, just step out of the fire. Like, the fire is still real to the person in the camp chair as it is to the person standing in the fire, right? So you step back, you sit down in your camp chair with the other person like, oh my God, that's so much better. You know what's even better? You take 100 steps back and you're like, yeah, there's a campfire over there. That's cool. But there's all this other stuff in my periphery. I can see so many other things. I can see so many other things. When you back up from the problem, back up, 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 back up. It becomes less and less of a problem. If you can get far enough, that campfire becomes a tiny little dot and it's like, whatever, like, whatever. That campfire doesn't have power over me. But when you're standing in the campfire and burning alive, it has a lot of power over you. So take your power back up for a little bit. Relax and distract yourself. Back up from the campfire. It's still going to be there. It's still going to be burning. You don't have to be standing in it right now. Go do something else. And then when you come back to the campfire, you're not going to jump into it. You're going to sit at that safe distance and you're going to watch it and be like, okay, I can handle this. This isn't a problem. This isn't a problem. Oh, this is a campfire. I can warm my hands. Oh, this isn't so bad. Like, oh, and then maybe it even went out. Again, have you ever talked to someone who had this huge, huge issue and they went on and on and on about it? And then a week later, you're like, hey, whatever happened with that? And they're like, oh yeah, it wasn't a big deal. And you're like, really? Really? All that time and energy I spent listening to you? Really? So, same thing. Camera problems today. Back up from it. Relax, distract yourself. The solution's already there. The solution is already there. It's your perspective that is the block. It's your perspective that you're taking on it that is the block. The solution is already there. And sometimes the only solution you need to do is back out of the problem enough to get more perceptual awareness of other things. You know, like, oh, okay. Like, this isn't as big of a deal as I thought, or if this happens, I'm still going to be okay, or maybe this isn't even going to happen. Maybe I'm just projecting that it already is going to happen when it isn't. So I hope this helped you. If you want to learn this type of cognitive flexibility, come join our class. Change your mind, change your life. Happening soon. Details below. Have a great day. Let me know what you thought. Drop a comment below. Bye.